Greetings, friends, freshmen, and slightly less freshmen. You younger folks who have eagerly anticipated the almost mythic high school experience, don't hold your breath. I don't know what all the fuss is about. Of course, if you do school online like I did, you'll only be getting the bare bones of high school. But let's expand on that, because even if you aren't going online, these fundamental concepts can make or break your academic career. So grab some popcorn, a stress ball, and start counting down the days to summer break, because this is going to take a second. Number 1. Organization. Hey, I see you fading. Starting with organization is probably one of the worst ways I can keep you engaged. Too bad, deal with things being boring because you're in my world now. You can't slap together a year just on vague wake-up times and 5-minute breaks. Believe me, I tried. No teenager is prepared without a schedule. Some of you will get them handed to you, how nice. For the rest, your fate lies in your own hands. The only way someone like me gets through 7 college classes and still manages to scrape together a handful of A's and B's is one color-coded Google Doc with all my assignments for that week right there in a neat little list. This is a must, especially for you little rebels that tend to get behind on assignments. Speaking of which, and I cannot stress this enough, take notes. Even if you gotta copy and paste things directly into a Word document, which I found is a very efficient way of doing things, but you didn't hear it from me. The thing about high school is it's going to throw a lot of information at you all at one time, and it would be impossible to soak up anything if you don't write it down. So suck it up, take notes. Number 2, procrastination. Now this may sound familiar to a lot of you, monkeys. If you're anything like me, you got a million better things to do than your homework. First of all, stop lying to yourself. Second of all, that's the kind of attitude that gets me months behind on lessons. Now, sometimes you'll find yourself sitting there and just staring at whatever passage you're supposed to be reading, and that's not your fault. But there are some things you can set up for yourself so that you can avoid that. Mainly, you're a human person, and you gotta take care of yourself. Stay hydrated, don't live on sugar and fast food, and get sleep. Find a way to do it, even if you have to take early dinners and hit the hay by 8, because nothing is going to get better until you give yourself time to restore your energy. Number 3, communication. I think there's a theme of rebelliousness here because I know for a fact that a lot of us could be getting the help we need and we're just being willful. Some people don't have the luxury of reaching out, whether it be an uncaring school system, an unreliable home situation, or internal issues that have a nasty habit of making these things harder. Us fortunate enough to have people to lean on cannot pass up on getting help. You're not perfect. None of us are. But we make more sense together. Number 4, motivation. Still, it's hard to rely on others, especially because a lot of us are too willful to ask for help. Cough, cough, me, cough, cough. There does come a time when you just have to help yourself. What you'll need here, and be sorely lacking in, is motivation. That nebulous brain steroid that successful people supposedly have in droves. But here's a little secret. Motivation as we imagine it is a myth. Rarely are you going to want to do your work. All you can think is, what is the point of this? It's true. High school is going to waste your time in ways you never thought possible. Like, why is reading Romeo and Juliet mandatory? There is no way I am memorizing the periodic table. I'm a music major! And I weep for you poor in-person attendees who have to go to pep rallies. But there are ways of getting things done without being bright-eyed and enthusiastic. You've got to get into the habit of sitting down in a controlled environment and getting to it. No, it's not as easy as it sounds. Like most things, it takes a lot of practice, but mostly deliberate action. Yes, it sounds lame, but you have to cut off the fun just for the time it takes for you to do your work. Turn off your phone, put away that book, don't pull out your personal projects even if you feel productive working on them. And for the love of all things academic, no video games, young man. I can feel my hairs graying as I speak. You can do all these things and still feel no motivation. But that's the thing. You won't feel motivation most of the time. And if that doesn't make sense to you, then I guess you'll understand when you're older. Number 5, failure. There are a lot of people out there with too many expectations put on them, and frankly, plenty who don't have enough pressure, whether that be from family, society, or from yourself. Motivation is hard enough to muster up, but when all that buildup leads to you crashing and burning, it can stamp out any drive to keep fighting. But it's not the end. Chances are, you're going to face some tough times in these 4 years. It's unavoidable. But you don't have to let it consume you. Expect failure, and when you mess up, bounce back. Equally important, you don't need to stress about making mistakes. Constantly bracing for impact is only going to hurt you more in the end. It's a balance to be struck, and one that takes practice. You'll have plenty of time. You can do it. And that's it. Yeah, it was sloppy, oftentimes redundant, and written in one night. Welcome to high school. See you later. I'm gonna go sleep until the fall. With love, Emma.